I do believe and have come to this understanding that if you're a potions master, you show signs of being a potion master at a very, very young age. I'm going to have you click. Let me click. Yeah, I actually showed signs of being a potions master at a very, very young age. My abilities were quite curious and quite shocking, I think, for my family. My first experience was actually, as it shows, with a birthday cake with a candle. And I was that kid that would look at a candle burning and just wonder, how is the flame getting up there on that little stick? And I would ask questions. And thankfully, I had other people in my life that would feed my curiosity, like my mom. She would say, well, Kim, why don't you take a piece of aluminum foil and just hold it over that burning candle? And I did. Sometimes I would put the candle out, and I would do this for hours. Not too long, she would say, okay, look at the underside of your aluminum foil. Now this would take a while, but as you all know, being that you are chemistry professors, black soot would start to appear on the aluminum foil. And my mom would ask me, where did that come from? That was magic. What? Like this black powder mysteriously went from the flame to the piece of aluminum foil? How? My curiosity didn't end there. I had brothers, 3 older brothers. How fantastic that is to be a curious potions master to have older brothers. In a place where we would just explore. And we did. One of my brothers went into a box of old 4th of July sparklers, pulled one out, scraped it off, and said, Kim, come here. And I did, because I want to show you something. And he took that gray mass of sparkler shavings, and he lit it up. And he said, now don't look away. And I looked very intently. And I looked at that burning sparkler, and I was amazed. That was magical. And sure enough, for the rest of the day, I saw spots. Just like you are, so you're welcome. So yeah, curiosity was there. My investigation was there. I was becoming a potions master. Then I walked into my first high school class. There was standing in front Mrs. Domke. We say the sorting. Mrs. Domke was my sorting hat. She was the first female potions master that I actually met up to that point in my education. I was fascinated. She said, welcome to chemistry. Not only that, she said, you have just walked into a classroom of curiosity. Every day, put on your curiosity hat. I was like, oh, mine's on. You better believe it. I'm ready. She also said this, any of you that bring in a hard-boiled egg, an aluminum can, and I'll show you some amazing science. Sure enough, the next day, I brought in like 24 dozen hard-boiled eggs, and every aluminum can I could find between 1st and 5th period in the trash can. I had bags full. I'm like, here, Mrs. Domke. Like, okay, good. So she grabs the first aluminum can, heats it up on the hot plate with a little bit of water. I'm standing front row. I was not shy. I want to see what's going on. Saw that steam coming from the can. She took some crucible tongs, converted the can into the cold water, and sure enough, we heard that big crack, pop. We were, wow! That was amazing. And she also said one thing. As you start your journey on chemistry, I want you to understand, chemistry is play, but the difference between playing and chemistry and science is that chemists write it down. And that made sense to me, because I didn't write it down yet. I played a lot, and I wanted to play, but I didn't write it down. So that started my journey to understand what I was so curious about and the science that I was doing to feed my curiosity. Okay, we'll switch to the next slide. So, I went to Michigan Tech to become a potions master. That is actually a picture of me the first day in my dorm. When I was dropped off with my trunk, my owl, my broomstick, and my muggle bucket. Why would I have a muggle bucket at Michigan Tech, if you know anything about that climate? But I actually did ride my bike every day to college when I lived off campus. But my first day in the dorms, thought I would explore this wizardry school I'm going to be going to for the next 4 years. And I walked down to the girls' bathroom and walked in. Right away, I look up, and there's a whole wall of urinals. I thought I did one of those stupid freshmen, oh, she walked into the boys' bathroom. Thankfully, no one was there. I walk out, and I look on the door, and on paper, it said women's. Over a sign that said men's. I'm like, oh, okay. What kind of women go to Michigan Tech? So I'll let you know, it took a while for me to master peeing standing up. Just for your information, though, the ratio of men to women when I was at Michigan Tech, 7 men to every 1 female. So most of my classmates were men. That was not the first difficult encounter that I had in that journey. You can click to the next. I found out very quickly I was taught by muggles. And I'll tell you, the struggle was real. And if you know what muggles are, how many don't know what a muggle is? A muggle is considered a non-magical folk. Those not born with the magical ability, and in this case, to be a potion master. Now, maybe they were a potion master, and maybe because Michigan Tech was so far away and so incredibly cold that owls couldn't find them to get them their letter. Because I would sit in class and take notes, and I had professors that would start on one overhead projector. One professor called Beast 1. And then go to the second overhead projector, she would call Beast 2. She would start writing on Beast 1, I would be sitting there, chemistry, writing all these chemistry notes. She's now into Beast 2, flip to the next projector, flip to the next projector. I'm like, wait, I'm still on Beast 1. I couldn't figure it out. Not one combustion reaction did I see to understand delta H. Not one simple little plunger to understand air pressure. Not one. In all my experience, trying to become a potions master in college, not one chemistry professor showed a single demonstration to me. Yes, I did get to be potion master in lab. I understand that. I recognize that. But when I'm sitting in class and I have my guided potions master there, because I'm such a visual learner, and what led me to want to be a potions master at that point started as a young child, burning a candle, putting a piece of aluminum foil over that burning flame, wondering why. And I was there to find out. And I did it with memorization, not with application. It's okay. And I'm not even afraid to confess my grades. I was a C student in chemistry. Did great in math, loved it. In fact, when I went into looking at getting a teaching certification, the professor leading the education college at chemistry said, Kim, why don't you teach mathematics? You only got 3.8 average in your math class, all the way up to differential equations. I love chemistry. I want to be a potions master. I wanted to be a potions master. But there's good news. So we'll click on. And guess what? An owl came and delivered my letter and confirmed to me that yes, I am a potions master. And guess what? You're a potions master. You're a potions master. You're a potions master. You're a potions master. We're all potions masters. We are. And that is something to be celebrated. We have a magical ability that others do not have. We do. So I'm going to just quickly, we're going to click to the next. Just make a few, this could go on and on, but just make a few key points about what I believe makes me a potion master. First, I accepted my letter. I did. I accepted, as much as it was hard for me to stand before people and say, yes, this is me. This is truly who I am. It's been me since a young child. I accepted my letter. And I showed that to my students, and I let them know they need to might want to tap back into for a future career. If it's something they're passionate about, they can do it. They can do it. Make connections with discovery activities. I learned from my educational experience, school, high school, middle school, college, what it helps to be a potions master is to connect with my students. Not just to show them how much I love my potions, and I love to teach them potions, but to get them to see this and understand it, where they are also writing it down, but writing down what they are discovering along the way. So I find that to be essential in my teaching. Don't ever forget why you became a potions master. I will always remember the burning candle, the burning magnesium, the collecting mercury from broken thermometers in a Dixie cup, right? Bringing it out and playing with it on the table. What? Yes, the madness of a potions master. Absolutely, absolutely. And then absolutely, last is care. That's actually a picture of Ashley, a student I had about 8 years ago. She's now a med student. She shared with me recently that she failed chemistry her first time. It took her almost 8 years to walk back into a chemistry class. She walked into my class, saw my periodic table high tops, I'm actually wearing Toms today, and saw my enthusiasm on day one like I saw with Mrs. Donkey. And she knew she was going to be okay. And she saw the passion that I had. And she had a passion for medicine. She had a passion, a curiosity of understanding Alzheimer's. And maybe that was a personal experience with a family member. But whatever it was, she knew she could do it. And it's such, and I know many of you have these stories with other students, and those are the things that we hold on to project us forward in making that happen. So since you're all potions masters, I'm not going to have you write it down. What I'm going to show you is a little bit of magic that you can bring to your students that is so incredibly easy. A matter of walking down the hallway, stopping in the labyrinth, picking up a few things just for that day of lecture, 5-10 minutes of a stop, or stopping at Publix. I ride my bike in to school 4 miles. I have a little basket on my bike. I'll put dry ice in that basket, and I'll ride it to school. It's pretty cool to see steam coming out, not steam, water vapor coming out of my basket. Oh, pretty cool. It doesn't take much. I'm going to have you sprinkle a little bit of this. This is fluorescein. If you've ever heard of it or seen this before. It's an orange powder called fluorescein. Here I told you I'm not going to make you write it down. But I can't help but not explain the science. Go ahead and sprinkle that. Got it? It's called fluorescein because of its fluorescence behavior, right? It makes those phosphorus. It's something that an eye doctor would use. But sure, your kids may not have, or your students may not have the fluorescein, but they definitely have, because they love to bring to your class note-taking material, highlighters, right? Open up the highlighter. And then you're going to tap it at the bottom. Yep, just tap it right at the bottom. That's really hard. Taking phosphorus, we're on that fluorescence, right? How quick and easy it is for kids to see this visual science. And you can apply this to so many concepts. Okay, lift up. Lift up. Okay, now just hold it. And then do it again. And then hold it out to the crowd. Just like that. Lift it up more. Lift it. And there we go. We have awesome dose eggs. And this being the theme of wizardry, we know that ghosts live in the castle. So why not bring them out? Why not bring some ghosts out, right? Like this. Put it in there. And that's cool. You know, and a lot of times that's like your first moment of, wow. And then after about 2-3 minutes, it starts to slow down a little bit. Okay, you want to reuse that dry ice. So having it in the basket, you can simply just pull it out and use it again. Just dump the water out and then put it back in. Of course, the warmer the water, Harry Potter has for light. Anyone know what that spell is? Yes. Lumos. And then there's light. See, you're a potions master, right? You can make light. You can make light. Why do we never want to mix anything with bleach? Just kidding. Okay, don't want that chlorine gas. Just this first heal, but you guys are very close. That's right. Ravenclaws, you guys are, I will keep you safe. You're my people right there. And of course, limiting reactants and so on. But bleach and hydrogen peroxide and a little bit of steel wool and what? Wow. It really increases that burn, right? How easy is that? It takes me, 3 minutes to pick those things up. When you light that metal, hey, potion master, what metal am I burning? Looks like strontium. There's another one that lithium is. Yep. Any guesses on this metal? It does look like sodium, but actually I think it's sodium and calcium, so it's just starting to look a little bit more orangey. Dionyls. Metal? Will actually torpedo out and jump into a different location if it's a forest fire. So there always has to be that concern. But anyway, this is one of my favorite of all demonstrations that I like to show students. But again, investigation at home, they can soak a little bit of salt and water. Why do you want to save the gas to this chemistry? Because you're making hydrogen gas. And I'll let you know, this is another tie-in that can be really fun with chemistry class. Because you celebrate Gold Day in the fall, and you celebrate Pi Day in the spring. That I also call, Mole/Pi Day. I always put Mole because that takes more recognition, right? And students may think it's lame, really, we're going to celebrate a nerdy chemistry day or nerdy math day. And then I bring my Mole Day balloons, and I show them this. The alternative energy source you can be teaching, zero carbon footprint, right there, fantastic. Do a little stoichiometry, let's look at the ratios of the hydrogen to the oxygen. How long did it take me to make these balloons? Where did I make them? I only saw 2 people in the bathroom when I was doing it. I did it right over here. That's it. Just a few minutes before this presentation. Didn't take much. And what will they remember? My potions masters taught me stoichiometry, taught me alternative energy, taught me that Mole Day is the best day of the year. And I'll tell you this, 4 kids, my 4th child, guess what day is her birthday? Yeah, I wish. If it was, she'd be a little Amadeo Avogadro. Why? She had to come October 21st. October 21st! Are you kidding me? You could wait 2 days! I still love it. Okay, next. Physical versus chemical change. And then you trip them because you're the potion master. And you bring in my friend poly. And you take a liquid that looks like water. And you pour it right on top of poly. And there's such savage. She's my favorite house elf. Are you kidding me? Why? And then you ask your students, physical or chemical change, and how many hands go up for chemical? Almost every one of them. Right? Every one of them. Boy, did I trick you! of what I have, it will be the same properties as my original polystyrene. So yes, I love my house elf. She's magical, she'll transform back in. I'll give her a little mold protection and get back into shape. And then also, for those that don't have nail polish, let them feel it, right? Let them feel it. Or if they do have nail polish, they don't mind. Well, you know, I'll redo my manicure. Because if this is melting, shouldn't my hand be burning hot? Right? Shouldn't I be like, oh, it's hot? But of course it feels very cool. Very simple. So incredibly simple. You can take this farther and go back to your childhood curiosity, like me, and make a plastic-sized bubble. You remember those that they still sell them in a little tube with a little straw, and you blow it up and you make this huge bubble that's very hard and rigid. And if you were like me and had 3 older brothers, and when you put that straw into this goo, your brothers say, suck really hard, and you do, and your throat burns, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die, and they're like, yes, you are. There you go. You can just take your milk of magnesia, ask them, is it really milk? So many curiosities there. What really is it? Why is it cloudy? Why does it look like milk? Why does it settle out? Pour some into some water. Add Madam Hooch's red cabbage juice. What? That's magical. That is magical. But it gets better. If you're like me and are nervous every day you walk into the classroom, I'm actually very introverted. I get so nervous every time I walk into the classroom. And I'll tell you what my mom told me. She said, Kim, those nerves are good. Those nerves mean that you care. And the day you stop being nervous is the day you probably should stop teaching. And I believe that. I care. I really do. Okay? So with those nerves, maybe I'll might vomit. It won't take much. Some of my stomach acid filtered out so it's not so gross for students to see. Squirt some of my stomach acid right in there. Right? Wow, that's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. Okay. What? That's you can continue to discuss and talk about this demonstration. As we all know, there's a couple things that are taking place, right? And you can go to conclusions to where it goes here, and it also goes to that peak. So a really, really fun, beautiful demonstration to do. Doesn't take much. You to do this particular demonstration in class because one, it's messy. 2, you probably set off a fire alarm. Okay, well, no. 1, 3, it does take practice. But again, why did one of my college chemistry professors just do a simple combustion reaction? Just turn on a Bunsen burner and explain to me that combustion. That's simple. You know, or a butane lighter, right? Simple combustion. Go further and explain some simple everyday life science of why people can't walk into a silo with any nail stuck to the bottom of their shoe, right? Because in the atmosphere of a silo, you have hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are very flammable. Fire breather with that material, and this can just